Excellent.
We made it!
We did it. We did it, we did it, we did it. How's everybody doing? Pretty good? Everybody good out there?
I'm good.
Just adjusting some rolls. You good, Campbell?
Yeah.
Looks like you got a kind of a funky shirt on today.
Oh yeah. Oh, it blends in. I did not think of that.
No worries. No worries. Let's talk about a little thing we call...
What's happened last time?
So last time was like a week ago.
Yeah.
I think.
And we...
Oh shoot. I need OBS on your side.
Oh.
Started up.
That's what I was forgetting.
I forgot to test it as well. No worries.
Wait, I thought it was up.
There it is.
Yeah.
I see it now. I'm not sure what, maybe it was up and anyway, magic is working right now. So we built this, we started this venture into kind of analyzing stocks. We wanted to get a head start on your career, I think, supporting the family. And so we wrote something that looks like a little bit like this. And it's
as of right now.
It's not great yet. What it's doing is it's looking at the price of Bitcoin. It's been running for a while, so we're not seeing any new updates because it's filled up the screen. And so we're still a very crude, rudimentary kind of place with this. And what it does is it says, okay, when it gets a ticker update, and when it gets an update to the price of Bitcoin,
it will create a dot.
Puts a dot, and that dot's like kind of right in the middle of its available X and Y space right now. When it changes, though, it will then kind of put it in a different place. The new dots are coming in at the right place, but the old dots aren't moved accordingly. That's kind of problem number one that we're at here. Problem number two is they're evenly spaced dots. They're not on the right position on the x-axis. So we need to kind of get the Y position correct.
And then figure out the time, which is the X.
Yeah, exactly. We get the X position correct. So we're basically mapping. So a lot of times when we're charting in code, you've got this kind of mapping from one scale to another scale. Can you see my hand signals right here? Right, so one scale might be in dollars and another might be in pixels. Okay? Or one scale might be in seconds and another might be in pixels.
Yeah.
But you've got available space. And you're usually dealing with percentages. In fact, I find it's often easiest to say, okay, let's use percentages as our translation point. That's in terms of thinking about it and in terms of writing the code.
Yeah.
With that said, let's switch over to my machine. Well, actually, let's do this. Let's actually switch over on your machine to the code. As I recall, we got into some difficulty understanding this code. This code felt complex. As we were going through it. And that was my takeaway from last show. And so what I decided to do is let's create a visual. And right now we're just trying to figure out the Y position here. So we've got this call to set top, distance from top in pixels. This is our Y position from the top. This is the thing we're trying to figure out where this thing goes.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is the code that we've got. And what I decided to do is I decided to spend a little bit of time this morning in PowerPoint and kind of show what's going on with this. And hopefully we'll be able to see this whole thing here. There might be some stuff hidden by you and me, now that I just realized this. But basically you've got a low price and you've got a high price, right? That over a collection of prices that you've looked at for the stock, or a collection of time, a segment of time, you've got the highest price in the segment and the lowest.
Yeah.
Okay, so we find that first. If we look at the code, we've got this call, where is it? I think it's above this line of code, called calculate high and low. And all that does is it does a for each across all the stock data points we collected, checks to see if that stock data point .tick.last trade rate is less than low. If it is, we set low equal to that. And if it's greater than our stored high, we set high to the new value. So we're just going through to find the highest and the lowest.
There's one piece of information that we need in order to finish this. I just realized is we need to figure out how much space the screen is, like how much time, I guess. So how much time do we want from here to the edge of the screen to be?
Yes, I would agree with that.
Because we need that to be able to tell, because we wanted to say if they're, this amount of time old, delete them so that we can always see the new ones.
Yeah. We might do what we're doing with the y-axis, which is make the high and low be the top and bottom.
Yeah.
For time, the low would be 0, or the time we started collecting, and the right side would be now.
Yeah.
So it would always kind of stretch, kind of thing. There's a couple ways of looking at it. We can also set a minimum time span, so if it's less than that, it would just be shorter, and it might start from the right side and kind of the data would kind of fill out to the left, like this. Or I'm sorry, it wouldn't fill out. I mean, the existing data would move to the left to make room for the new data on the right. So the right side would always be now. It's another way of visualizing it.
Okay.
So this is, even though this kind of looks like it might be right, it's not, because see that big jump on the left over there?
Yeah.
That big jump, what should have really happened during that jump is we should have moved, because we got a new high or low, we probably are going to need to move everything to the left. So that's the problem, is all the pieces left haven't moved yet. We need to fix that. I wanted to go back to back on the machine here. I wanted to look at this code here. We've got the calculate high and low. I just want to kind of go through each line here, right here, that we've got here. Like chart height in dollars is equal to high minus low. Right, we go back over to my machine on this. We've got keep going on here. Eventually, we're going to get to that right here. So this over here on the left is in dollars. Right, and I've got a high dollar amount, a low dollar amount, and a last trade rate that's going to be somewhere inside of that space. I'm mapping it over here to pixels, right? I've got some number of pixels here, whatever that is, and it's going to have a chart height in pixels on it, right?
Which we already created.
Yeah. I've got this variable called amount above bottom, which is equal to last trade rate minus low.
Yeah.
See it?
Yes.
I've also got the chart height in dollars.
Yes, which is from load high.
High minus low, right? That's equal to high minus low. Got that. Then we've got now this percent of chart height. Yeah. So the percent of chart height there in yellow is the same as the percent over here. It's the same number percent, but its value might be higher because this has gotten lower.
Pixels.
Yeah, pixels or whatever. It's different overall absolute value, but the percent is the same in both. And the percent of chart height, that's equal to the amount above the bottom divided by the chart height in dollars, and that's right behind you there. Okay, but the essence is, that's all right. You don't have to move. But it's basically, when we talk about percent, it's always portion divided by whole.
Yeah.
See it? So amount above bottom is the portion we're interested in. Chart height in dollars is the whole. Okay, there you go. Thanks for wearing that shirt, Camel. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Over here, this distance in absolute is the distance from the bottom in pixels. Yes. That's equal to the percent of chart height from bottom, that percent times the chart height in pixels, right?
Yeah.
And then to finally get the distance from the top, we just basically take chart height in pixels and subtract the distance from the bottom. And that gets our distance from the top.
Yeah.
All right. All of that basically here. Let me take this. I'm going to take a screenshot of that.
So that's a bunch of just pieces of information that we're calculating in the code, so that we know, so that we have what we need to figure out.
Right. Exactly. Let me start a paint over here. Let's see if I can paint. Do that. Let's cut it and let's try to paste it in there. Can I paste? No. Why not?
Isn't it an image address that's needed?
No. I should be able to paste in any image at all. And I'm not sure why that is. I can paste it here, but I cannot paste it there. Do we have the option turned off, maybe? Let's go see if we have it. Turned off, I don't remember. It's going to be in rich comments. Look at embedded images and source code. Yeah. So that is there. I'm not seeing why that's failing. And I don't have, I'm going to have to grab your log file separately. I'm going to report an issue on this. That's what I'm going to do, so our devs can look at this. I'm going to switch over to your machine so that we can see this. All right, so I'm on Campbell's machine right now, and
Oh, it's because it's running, I think.
What?
I think it might be because it's running right now.
The app is running? Oh, that's right. That's the problem, isn't it? Let's stop the app. I think we've seen this before. It doesn't paste in when the app is running. There it is.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, good. Good job, Campbell. All right, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. We're going to resize this so we can see this. So these are just going to be here to help us remember what the logic is in this space right here. What's going on with this code. And actually, I think I want to take this and move it down to right about inside here, like that. Okay. What's this comment? Oh, this was an example.
Yes.
When we were trying to visualize this, I said it's always good to have numbers if you're trying to visualize. So that gives us these pieces, but the problem is all the previous dots are in the wrong place.
Yeah, because they're not updating.
We need to get the new position for them. And also this code, by the way, to get this top position, it needs to move.
Why?
And you know what I'm going to do? I want to take all of this and put it all in its own class. We've got a lot of stuff inside our main window, but our main window is really better for UI, for user interfaces. Does that make sense? And so what I want to do is...
Talk about this last show.
Yeah, well, I'll probably talk about it every show. So let's create a new class. And this is going to be a class that specializes in converting dollars to pixels and time to pixels. Mm-hmm. So maybe it'll be our chart translator?
Yeah.
Is that okay for you? I don't know. You got a better name, I'm going to switch to it immediately because I'm not 100% into this yet. So we're going to create a chart translator, and I'm going to make it be, this will not be static. We've done classes in the past where we created a static class. We just call a method in. We did not have to create an instance of it. But I want to create an instance of this one because it's going to hold on to things. It's going to hold on to high and low. Yeah. And it's going to hold on to chart height. And the reason I want to do an instance is what if I want to have two different charts at the same time? If I had it static, I can only do one. And so that's why I'm going to do an instance. So that means I need to have a reference to a chart translator in here. So I've got it on the clipboard. I can just type in A and then the slash key above the enter key. Go ahead and do that to give me an auto-implemented property of that type. And then spacebar to expand it. And we'll just keep it the same name. You can just hit paste and then enter. So that'll be our chart translator. Now, that's our...
oh no, it's public. Never mind.
It's public. We can make it private if you want.
No, I was just saying, if it's I was gonna suggest we make the first letter not capitalized, but since it's public, we should.
Well, you know, we could also drop it down to like private and do that because we really only need it internally. We could also say, you know, maybe it's not a property. Maybe instead it's just a field, and we're just going to say new is equal to new chart translator, like that. All right. So our main window now has a chart translator in it.
Yeah.
Cool? All right, cool. Next, we want everything that has to do with things like this, for example, right here. That guy we want to move over into the other place is what we want to do.
Yeah.
Stock data points. What are stock data points? These are here locally. Whenever we call update last price, we add the data point to it. I think I'm going to move these over. I'm going to move these over to my chart translator. Okay?
Yeah.
Cool with that? I'm going to start moving stuff over. The cool thing about this is that we can create multiple charts at once, right? With multiple receivers of information. So we can track Bitcoin, track Ethereum, like different kinds of pieces out there. What?
Yeah.
So why don't you do it actually? Why don't you take stock data points and move it up into chart translator? So we're just going to cut line 40. And then we're going to move it up to chart translator. Probably on line 23 is where I'd put that. Right up there at the top of it. Okay?
Yeah.
Good. Next, we've now introduced some errors. You can see the number 2 down near the bottom of the near line 50. It's down here. It's right behind you. Mm-hmm. So folks out there watching can't see it, but that's it right there. There's 2 errors. If you click on that, we can see those errors and we see the problem. Calculate high and low. Guess what? I'm taking that, all of this, I don't want chart height in pixels. Not yet. I don't know about that yet. But I definitely know I want this. See that?
Yeah.
I'm taking that. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to put it up here. Put it after the constructor, because I like to put my constructors near the top. And now, what else do we have? We have new problems here.
Many new problems.
Okay, update last price. It's got some trouble.
Then.
All right. So it looks like it's all in update last price. Is what it looks like.
So should we just move that one to chart translator?
Yeah. Give me 1 second though. See what you call the dispatcher invoke? Mm-hmm. We needed this because we were making changes on the wrong thread, on a thread that did not own the UI. And that led to a problem. Dispatcher invoke says, oh, you know what? Let's make sure that we call, when we're going to change the UI, we do it from the thread that owns the UI. Do you know what a thread is?
No, I don't.
A thread is like a CPU. It's a computer. Okay? I can have multiple threads running at once. So if you go in, for example, to, if we do this, if we go hit Control-Shift-Escape, and we go into Performance and go into CPU, you can see that you have 16 cores. See those cores? Each of those is like a little mini computer. In the old days, when I first started, there was only one core. There's no such thing as multiple cores in a single machine.
Yes.
So you got like, much more powerful machine than I had when I was growing up. Okay, so here's the deal. Dispatcher invoke is needed for UI-related calls, meaning this one, canvas.setLeft.
Wait, we're in XAML.
Huh?
But we're in XAML.
What makes you say we're in XAML?
Sorry, we're in main window.
We're in main window, that's right. And that's okay for main window to so what do you mean when you say, but we're in main window?
But main window can access the UI.
It can if the method is being called from like another method that already has the UI thread that's already running on that UI thread. And so if I click a button, anything I put in the event handler will work. But this update last price is connected to the subscribe to symbol ticker updates async call, which is going to come in on another thread. So this is going to get called on another thread. If we do anything that has to do with UI in there, we need a dispatcher invoke. The problem is that we started out correctly, but then we've got other code like this. Whoops, sorry, like this code. This code's just manipulating numbers, and this is also manipulating numbers down to here. That code, we don't need dispatcher invoke around. So the whole point of talking about all of this is that dispatcher invoke stays in main window.xaml. We're not going to move dispatcher invoke to the new class we're creating up here, chart translator. Does that make sense? We're not going to move that. So that means we've got to take this part, the pieces that are these two lines of code and this line of code. They need to be moved away from the rest of this calculation code. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to take these two, move it down with my set top. Okay. Also this as well. Like my children.add. This is my canvas main. So this is all UI code here. Also, this piece here is also UI. All that's UI. Everything above it is not. So now I'm going to take this part of my dispatcher invoke and move it down to here. So we've got dispatcher invoke around the UI. Hit Control-KD, and that's going to reformat. And that's now the next change I'm going to make. Okay, cool with that? So I haven't done anything. I'm just refactoring. Right? I haven't changed the functionality yet.
Got it.
Okay? Next. Update last price. What I really want to do here is I want to get my distance from top pixels. This is essentially my Y position.
Yes.
That's what I want to get. So I'm going to call this, let's rename this. Well, I don't know. I won't rename it because I've got it up here in my picture. Distance from top pixels. So let's grab this. And I think I'm going to just cut it to the clipboard for a second. And then we'll drop a marker here. We're going to come up in here and we're creating a method for it. This method is going to be get stock Y position. Stock position Y. I'm not sure. Maybe just get stock position for now. I'm going to paste it in. We've got data that's coming in. Data is of type Bittrex tick. So that's the tick data for when the stock changes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got get stock position in here. Now we've got this left position is like, wait, what? I don't know what's going on here. What's int dot diameter? That I don't really want here. I'm going to get rid of that, and we're going to go put it back down into this space here, because we haven't really written anything for left position. And then we basically need this guy right here. So we say that is equal to our chart translator dot, and we've got some sort of get call in here, which we haven't made public yet. Get stock position, so we're going to make that public. And we're going to have that return, what are we returning, a double? Distance from top, it's a double. So what I can do here, so I can come down here and I can say return that, and then right here, hit the code rush key right here. So you've got distance from top pixels, and choose convert to function. And what
does this do?
So if you scroll up a little bit, we'll scroll up a bit and you can see it. See it returns a void right now?
Yeah.
It's not a function. You convert it to a function, it's going to see the type of that.
It's going to return that type.
Yeah, it's going to say return double.
Okay.
So convert to function there. You can see in the preview right there, it's going to return it to double. Okay? All right, good. You can hit escape to get back down to where you were. There we go. Chart height in pixels. Chart height in pixels is nowhere to be found here.
No.
Chart height in pixels is where? Let's finish this line of code over here. Get stock position, sending in data. And this one we want to declare as a double. Okay? Okay, so this code is still working. I don't like the name of this. I don't quite like the name yet in terms of what's happening, because this is distance from top, and this is get stock position. Right, which kind of implies both X and Y. So we're still refactoring, but at least we're kind of getting this thing closer. We have this chart height in pixels, which we need to figure out, which is right there. See that chart height in pixels, 500? Okay, that's hard-coded. I don't really like that, but we're going to keep it for now. We'll change it. I'm going to maybe do a to-do on that. So I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to say, hey, to do, let's not hard code this. Instead of just saying this, because maybe later I could come in accidentally putting something new right here, I'm going to say, let's not hard code chart height in pixels. What I want to do is I want to allow it to change based on the size of the window.
Yeah.
Okay? But
wait, why don't you just put the to do on the chart height pixels line of code so that we don't get it mixed up.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay. I can do that too. Now what I want to do is I want to come in here and I want to choose add parameter. Go ahead and choose add parameter. And then I've got chart height in pixels on the clipboard. Hit paste. And then hit enter. And then, good, hit enter there. You're good. Now hit the code rush key. And choose declare field with initializer. And it's going to give me a new field called chart height in pixels. And assign it. And it's just asking where to put it. Right there. All right, cool. So now we've got chart height in pixels here locally. So when we create a new chart translator, right now we're going to pass it in. I don't like it, but you know, we're going to do it because there's a lot of things that we're kind of working on right now at once. Yeah. So it's kind of like sculpting. Writing code is a lot like sculpting for me. I work on the biggest problems first, even though I know that like maybe I've got a problem with the ear and I'll get to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but the nose is all wrong, so I'm going to fix the nose, work on that, get things moving in the right places, that sort of thing. Okay, so now we've got the chart height in pixels. We do have a problem here. It says this has got a static field or constant, so I think we got to make this constant, and that should fix it. So fix it or no? No, once it's static. All right, fine. I'm okay with it being static. Okay, and now at this point, we should have no errors, no issues found, and we should run and it should do the exact same thing. Let me move this to its own file, chart translator, and let's just run it and watch it for a while and see if it looks like it's doing the same thing.
Ah, my mouse was upside down.
Okay, we got 1 dot, 2 dots, 3 dots. Okay, so it looks like it's the same. We'll watch it a little longer. We might see it if there's a change in the stock price. Might see it move.
Uh-oh.
Think it's different later?
I'm not sure, but it's not moving at all.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay.
It was the data.
Yeah, so the data was acting abnormal.
Yeah. Okay.
Differently than it usually does.
Okay, next we need to show the move. We need to be able to show, we need to move the previous pieces is what we need to do based on the new data coming out. That's the next piece we have to do. All right?
Yes.
We also, it would be nice to label the top and bottom of the chart. What are you thinking?
What do you mean, the top and bottom?
Oh, label the dollar amounts.
Oh!
I'd like to put the dollar amounts somewhere out
Like
here.
a graph, like a real graph.
Right.
So it's like, yeah.
What's interesting is we could actually call this a real graph. It's just not a great real graph.
No. It's not a great real graph. I would say, as of right now, it's not a graph because it's not accurate. Like this isn't really.
Well, yeah, and plus we have no scale.
Yeah.
So, we want to kind of improve readability.
It's kind of only going on one axis
Right.
correctly. Like this isn't separating correctly by time.
Yeah, the only dot that's real is the last one that's out there. The other ones we're not sure about. We're not so sure about. All right, so, okay, let's close it. Trying to get that close button up there. All right, so next what we have to do is we have to change all the other points. Now, there's two things going on in get stock position. I said I didn't like this. We're going to kind of tease this out a little bit. One of those is the is that we are this code right here does more than just get the stock position. What's going on in these two lines of code?
It's creating the new data point.
Right. So sometimes this happens, right? Especially if we have a lot of code in our main window, and we're just adding code in the main window a lot, and we're not organizing. Right, when that happens, when we've got all of that code in the main window, and we're not organizing things, we sometimes have methods that do two things. The method might be called one thing, like get stock position, but what it really does is two things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So every time I call get stock position, I just want to get something. It's going to actually add something in. I don't like that. Okay? I don't like that. The other thing that I don't like, as I look at this, I look at this stock data point. What's going on with stock data point? I don't even remember this.
It's the point that displays what value it is.
Interesting.
I think.
So stock data point has the tick and the time. We're only right now adding the time to it, right?
Yeah.
What if we also added X and Y position for charting?
The X.
What'd you say? What?
We kind of already have the X position because we have time. But I guess not.
And we kind of already have the Y because we've got the tick, but the thing that I'm thinking of is this, right? Is that we need to, your chart translator, we need to take this out and we need to recalculate and move. Well, if we're going to move things, we need to know where they are.
Yeah.
I think we do. Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't need to know where they are.
No, we do.
We need a way to connect the data, the stock data point.
Well, we at very least need the X value. Because then we know which data point to target. If we don't have that, then we'd just be targeting random data points and moving them.
Yeah, we need a connection. We need a connection between...
Oh, no, we do. Right, we need to know where they are because we also need to calculate where to move them.
Yeah, or we delete them all and just put new ones in. We could also do that.
Yes, but even then we would need to know where they were at the beginning to know.
No, we don't. The reason we don't is because when we do cdschildren.add, we now know that this is a child of CDS main. We could go into CDS main and just say you have no children now.
Oh, okay.
We could wipe out all the children. We don't need to know where they are. So it's a way to fix it. It's a way to do it.
You just sounded very evil when you said we should wipe out. We could wipe out all the children.
Yeah, we could wipe out all the children in like a single method call. Sense of disturbance in the force around that time. So if the voices of millions all cried out at once. Alright, so we've got a couple choices. We have one is hold the X and Y in the stock position, go to the X and Y, and then throw the dots up on screen. Is what we have. That's one option. I'm kind of leaning towards X and Y. I am kind of leaning towards it. That the charts translator is going to put in an X and Y. It's going to store an X and Y inside of a stock data point. Playing with that. The other one is that it just gets it back and returns it. I think actually I'm changing my mind. We're going to do that. We're going to have it, so we need to take this out. This has got to be its own separate thing.
Wait, sorry, what? Can you say that again? Everything?
Yeah, I can. I want to make it so that what I want to do is I want to make it so the chart translator just can calculate the position and brings it back. And then what we're going to do is we're going to essentially wipe out everything, wipe out all the children over in main window, and add them every time we get an update last price. That's what we're going to do. Okay? So what that means then is instead of getting just the position here for this guy, what we really need to do is we need to iterate through all of the children. And it might be best to look at the iteration code here. It might, at the client code. It might be best to start here to see what this is going to look like. So what I think it's really going to look like is instead of this, we're going to come in and we're going to say, hey, chart translator dot add stock position. Okay? That is going to now, what that's going to do is that's going to take this guy and remove it from there. And that is going to now come in here. And so now we have a method that does what it says it's going to do. You with me so far on that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Next, I think this is going to also return a stock data point. Go ahead and change that to, convert that to a function for me.
Okay. Oops. Sorry.
There we go. Then hit tab to reach reference on add stock position to get back to the call. And now what I want you to do is, do we want to do this or not? Well, I was thinking, all right, next let's look at get stock position. Get stock position brings data in. All it's using is the last trade rate. So let's see this. I'm going to use go choose decompose parameter. If you remember this refactoring, this takes something that's coming in as kind of an object and says, oh, let's find the simpler thing that you need. You're only using the last trade.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go do that. And so that's going to be my last trade rate. Next, let's rename get stock position to get stock position Y. Rename the method get stock position to get stock position Y because it's only bringing the Y value back.
It is?
Yeah. See, even the chart, look, it says charting Y-axis. It's all about calculating the Y. Just make that uppercase Y for me.
Oops.
Good. Yeah. Now, let's go in here and take a look at what we got here. Now we've got this get stock position distance from top. Okay, cool. Next. It's got a list. The chart translator has a list, whoops, of all of the points it's collecting called stock data points. It's private. There's a refactoring called encapsulate field that will give us a property accessor around this so we can access it from the outside. You could also just type in the word public here. But now I could then come in, because I've got public, I could go in and reassign it.
Yeah.
Do something different. I can mess it with it from the outside. It is safer to choose encapsulate field. And I say still use field. It's okay internally to still use the field. And now what happens is we get this down here. See it? Stock data points. It gives me a getter
and a setter.
And a setter. Guess what I'm going to do?
Get rid of the setter.
I'm getting rid of the setter. I could also alternatively do this. Watch this. This is kind of cool. I can make the setter private. I can only set it inside here. What that means is no one can.
It's not really a setter.
It is because I can use it inside here.
Oh.
I could get that public field. Gosh, what's going on with my caps lock? Is it on? Yeah. I could do that. Stock data point. Sorry. And I could assign it a value. So I can set it equal to null, for example. What's going on with my fingers and my keyboard? All right, there we go. I can do that with a private setter. That would work and be okay. Or I can just say, let's get rid of it.
Yeah.
Like that. Now this won't work. We get an error down here in this line of code. See right there? Because it's got no setter.
Yeah.
This is the safest way to do it. Now, nobody can corrupt, really, nobody can reassign this. So it's a little bit safer, okay? And I've got stock data points on the outside. Now, what's cool about this is I can now come down in here, anytime there's a change, instead of just putting a new one at the right spot, right? I can now come in here and I can say, okay, we're going to add the stock position, good. I'm going to now go into my chart translator, all of its data points. I'm going to do a for each in here. See that? Mm-hmm. I've got the for each built. And now I'm going to come in and I want to say, okay, let's get my distance from the top in pixels. The data I want to set is not data.last trade rate, it's stock data point dot tick dot last trade rate. Okay?
Yes.
So now I'm going to get that for each one. Then I've got my dispatcher invoke right here. Now, I actually don't want to do a lot of thread switching, so I'm going to take this loop and I'm going to put this loop down in here. Like that. I'm going to do that, and we're going to do this right there. And we're going to kill all the children. I'm sorry, did I just say that? We want to clear all the children. Okay?
Yes.
Like that. Mr. Soda, hey, what's up with your voice today? Sounds awful. Sounds awful. What is up with my voice? Is it volume? Volume. Am I just too high? Check. Yeah. Check. Check. Any better, Mystic Soda? I'm going to check. Is that coming out of check? No? I'm going to listen to it. Sounds better a bit. Let me go out and see what's going on. Thanks for that, Mystic Soda. Oh. Gotta watch an ad break now here. Apparently, because the. How long is the ad break gonna last? How do I explain? Your volume looks extremely loud. Yeah. All right, let's see. I've got it up here. I'll be able to listen to it in a second here. Check. All right, let's see. I've got it up here. I'll be able to listen to it. Got it. Nope, I totally can hear it. Check. Right there. Let's listen to that now and see if that's any better. Check. Right there. Let's listen to that now and see if that's any better. A little bit better. So that's called clipping, and it's when basically you're sending more, the volume is higher at some point. Just going to drop that down a little bit more. Check. Yeah, getting a little bit better. Thanks, Mr. Soda. Yeah, it's clipping is the best way to describe that. It's when the volume is so high, it can't record the peak anymore, so it just goes flat at the top instead of having these curved peaks on them. Yeah, I'm going to have to go look at the sound on this a little bit, the sound setup. Okay. Better, I think. Still looking a little high to me. Just a little bit high. Check. Right in there. Better. I'm going to keep it right there. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. Kelly, you want to give me a check on yours too?
Yeah, sure. Check.
Okay, okay, camel down. All right, so we'll stick with that right there. Okay, back over to the code. So we've got this get stock position Y. Now get stock position Y does something else that's kind of interesting, which is it calls calculate high and low. But that, we really don't need it here. We need it here. Like that. fact, we're going to take that and put that inside calculate high and low. So we're just going to have this little safety piece right here. If high is equal to low, we only have one data point. Only one data point. And I just want to make them a little bit, you know, I want to, I'm just offsetting them a little bit for the chart. Okay? So we only need to call calculate high and low when we add or if we ever remove any stock positions. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So get stock position Y is now being called in a loop. Left position, we're going to do this, put this in here. We're going to say left position is equal to 0 at the top, at the beginning of this. And I think that's it. This should do is I think essentially done with the Y's. Let's try it. Let's run it. See if we see it look a little different.
I'm not sure I understand this.
Okay, cool. Let's ask questions.
That was just added.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
I don't think sorry. Well, I guess, why does it work? Or what is it doing?
So right now what it's doing is every time we get a new price, we add the stock position.
Yeah.
When we call add stock position, that calls calculate new high and low.
Yes.
Okay. Then we have a for loop for all of the data points we've collected so far.
Okay. Yeah.
We set left position to 0, and we just redraw them. We clear all the children, and then we calculate its left and top position, and we set them.
Okay.
Okay? And
got it.
That's it. We put this in here.
So it should look a little bit different.
So what should happen is we should see the dots on the left move vertically when a new price comes in.
Yeah.
So we should see shifting vertically in some way, and if we see a shifting in a vertical shift, then that's good. Okay, so there's one. Okay, there. See them all? They all jumped up. So now we should see a vertical shift, maybe a compression as well of the pieces we have so far. So we're looking for another kind of move, and that'll happen. We get a shift or a move when we get a new high or low that changes the overall vertical scale. That make sense?
Yeah.
So this one's in between, so there's nothing. But if we get one above or below, then we should see
then it should shift.
This pattern
shift.
Compress, right?
Yeah. Got it. Oh, I had an idea. What if, like, every second we created a new data point and charted it, and so if it was the same, like if it was the same, it would still show it, and then if it changed, it would change, like, it would move the dot, or not move it, but it would create a new dot lower. So it would be similar to this, but instead of doing it every time it changed, every second we would make a dot, or every 5 seconds.
I see. Yeah, certainly we could do that. Yeah. So we're still within that range. So I'm looking for something that goes like, if it drops a little lower right now. There it is.
Yeah.
See it? Compressive? That's what we're looking for. So that's like a really good sign from my perspective. Okay?
Yeah.
Now we don't have connecting lines there, so it's hard to see what's going on. Like we don't see the spikes.
Yeah.
So we might want to consider drawing the lines next. We
Which
might
I think
consider
will
getting the horizontal spacing right, so the time is right.
And then we should draw the lines, I think, because they will look smoother.
Okay.
Because like now, if we were just to draw the line, it would be a straight line for down or up for everything, or a pretty close to straight line.
Okay, so you want to get the positioning, the X positioning correct.
Straight down.
Is that right?
Yes, I want to work on the time. And then we can draw the lines.
Yeah. So kind of cool though, right? You can start to see the beginnings of the, behavior of the stock.
Yeah.
If we get the positioning right, let's just get the positioning right first. Let's do that. Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm thinking calculate high and low. That happens whenever we add a new stock position. I think calculate high and low should be, we should rename this to calculate bounds. And then in addition to calculating high and low, we also calculate left and right, is what we do. So we're going to say left time and right time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're going to say left is equal to stock data points of 0. So the very first one, dot time. Or maybe left time. I'm going to keep it's on the x-axis. So high and low, left and right, from beginning and end, start and end. We'll call it start. So start is going to be equal to that. Clear field. Start. And we're going to have another one called end.
Yeah.
Okay? And then we're going to come down here and we're going to say, hey, n is equal to this. And we're going to take, we want to get the count of this. Right, or is it the length? Count, like that, minus 1. So that's going to be my last entry. Now, because I know, wait, do I know this or not? Well, I do know that I'm only calling this after I've added one. There's no other calls to this. See, I'm just doing tap and mix reference there. Because of this, I know, because of the call, I know I'm pretty much guaranteed, at least in the current code base, that this will always be valid. But what if that's equal to 0? Well, I can't set start and end like this. If I only have, if I have 0, if I don't have any data points, I can't set, I don't know when my start and end are. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So I'll put this defensive code in here just in case. I'll say, hey, start is equal to date time now. Go ahead and type in DTN for date time now. That'll get you, and then duplicate that line, DTN. N for now, date time now.
Oh.
In this space. Good, and then shift enter to duplicate the line and do the same for N. Perfect. And so now I've got start and end, just in case. It's defensive code. And this is, defensive code is often really good for test cases. I might create a test case that makes the call out to this.
Why are the start and end the same?
Well, because I have no data points to grab. So I just want to make sure I've got some kind of interesting value here. What's actually going to happen is that this end is going to be just a little bit bigger than this start. Because date time now is the current clock time on the computer. So we execute this line of code, a little bit of time passes while it executes, and then we go execute this line of code. They're going to be very close to each other.
Super close.
It's just defensive code to make sure we don't have, data we don't understand.
Okay.
At least they're knowing and setting it. Okay? All right. So now add stock position takes care of left and right. We've got get stock position Y. Next we have to figure out get stock position X. Right?
Yeah. Wait. Yeah.
We need something that's going to be able to do that. So we're going to need to say get stock position X. Instead of taking in a decimal that's the trade rate, it's going to take in something else. Do you know what it's going to take in?
It should, there's probably something for the time.
Right, exactly. With coverage, you can use D8 for a date time. D and then the number 8. So I want a variable type date time. I type in V D8 like that. and it gives me this. Okay? D8 stands for date time. Go ahead and give me a variable type date time in here. Nope,
Oops.
that was DT. You can hit undo, it's faster to get back.
Okay, so V, just T or
V,
right.
D, and then the number 8. It's phonetically date. See it?
Yeah.
Okay, and we're going to call this just time. Okay, so we're going to pass in a time, and we want to get back a position X. Okay? Just hit enter there, and I think you're done there. Okay, so now I'm going to drop a marker here. We already have somewhere in here chart height in pixels.
Yeah.
See it?
What?
And
We don't need that though because we're
What'd you say?
We don't need that right now though because we're working on the X.
Right, but what we do need is a chart width in pixels.
Oh yeah.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to my my main window, chart width in pixels. I'm going to just say this like 1900. It's going to go full screen. Okay. I got it to do. Let's not hard code this. Absolutely. I want to now add this as a parameter here. So go ahead and you do it. Hit the coder's key, choose add parameter. I think I've got the chart width and pixels on the clipboard. Hit paste. I think it's on the clipboard, yeah. And hit enter.
Oops.
Looks like you've got a build there. You can close that down. Just get the carrot back where you on the chart width and pixels. Looks like the carrot's not in the editor. Go ahead and give it focus. Click there, now hit enter. Should be able to continue. Enter. Good. Good. Now hit, you can hit enter, drop the line, get rid of the line there. And I want you to hit the coder's key and now choose declare field with initializer, just like we did before.
Yeah.
Okay, and move it, okay, I was going to say move it next to chart width in pixels. I mean, chart height in pixels. Put those together. What does it do?
Oops, wait.
Remember the quickest way.
Work.
What are you pressing? What are you doing?
Alt and up and down arrows.
Because you want to move it?
Yeah.
Okay, so for that to work, you've got to, I think, get to the beginning of the line. Try that. That's a Visual Studio feature. So hit home to get there. Now try it. And if not there, get to the, there you go.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? All right, so now we've got a chart width in pixels, which is one of the things we need to calculate it. So what else do we need? So we're going to be able to use, we're going to use that. We need to escape to get back to our marker that we dropped up there. So we need that chart width in pixels. We need that. We need our start and end, right?
Yeah.
And we need to essentially get to a percent across kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then we take the percent across, multiply by chart width in pixels, and that's going to be our X position. So we're going to basically say, hey, return, it's going to be percent across. I'm just going to copy that. We don't have it declared yet, but it's going to be this times that, which we do have. We have the second one, we just don't have this first one. That's what we're returning.
Yeah.
You with me on that?
Got it.
Next we need to declare this. So this is going to be like a double, and it's going to be equal to something. I don't know what it is yet. Okay? We have a start and an end.
Yeah.
So we're going to need, there's something called a time span. Well, let's do this. Yeah, let's do this. So the abbreviation for time span is in CodeRush is TS. So if I want a variable type time span, I type in VTS. Go ahead and do that. Type in VTS. Space.
Variable time span. Oops,
Yeah.
that was enter.
Okay, that's how you declare it. A time span, if you could say, we could say, we'll call this distance across. That's equal to end minus what?
Start.
Yeah, end minus start. So remember when we were working with the super number and we created the operator overload for minus?
Yeah.
We were able to take a class that we created and use operators on it, like minus, times, plus.
Yeah.
The same thing is happening with date times. End
Really?
and start are date times.
Oh.
But when they are subtracted, guess what they return? A completely different class.
Yeah.
A time span. Make sense?
Got it.
Okay. So distance across is a time span. We might want to run the whole thing in seconds. So we could do this. Total seconds like that. Take the coder key, declare a local for it. There's my total seconds across. Okay? And that'll be a fraction, by the way, if it's like not exactly 1 second. Or, you know, it doesn't not a whole number. So it'll be like 45.2 will be my distance across, okay?
Yeah.
Total seconds across. So my percent across is going to be something divided by my whole. What's my fraction here, my portion?
Oh, distance across.
It's not. It's actually something that doesn't exist here yet. So distance across gets us to total seconds across.
Right.
That's our whole. Our portion is going to be something else minus start. We can say, so let's rename this to total distance across, just so we know. And then we have something else like a portion distance across, or maybe just call it, you know, distance to point. And that is going to be equal to something minus the start position. What goes here?
Oh, is it? We can't do chart with pixels because it has to return a time span.
It's got to be a time.
Yeah. Oh, is it just time? And
just
now
time.
is the parameter?
It's just time. It's the parameter, right? When we call get start position x, we're going to pass it some time. So when we pass whatever time we pass, we're going to subtract the start position. That gets the distance to point, right? If I've got my distance to point, then I want to say I'm going to come in here and say seconds to point, and that's going to be equal to distance to point dot what?
Total seconds.
Yeah, exactly. And so now I've got my seconds to the point, that's my portion. I've got my whole, total seconds across. What goes here?
What's it called? Seconds to point.
Exactly, seconds to point goes there. Holy cow, am I done? I might be done. So get stock position X does this. What's cool about this, each time we add a point, we're going to actually, the graph will start just always fit. It doesn't grow anymore. It'll always just fit.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So now we've got to get stock position X. All right, let's see if it works. The left position here is no longer going to, we're not going to set this to 0 anymore. We don't need it anymore. We're going to just get rid of it. Okay? Instead, we need a...
I'll be right back. Just 1 second.
No worries. Also, whatever that...
I'm doing that. Permanent. Stop.
All right, perfect. So now we have chart translator get stock position X. It needs the time. We have this stock data point right here. What do we need to grab? Oh, look at that. It's right there suggested for us.
Time. It's behind your head, but time.
Okay, yeah, there it is right there. Let's scroll that up a little bit. So that's going to give me my X. I get the decoder screen. Go ahead and choose decoder. I hit decoder screen. Decoder variable. Decoder local. Call it left position. Right there. Or just pose, POS, like that. So it works with the piece that's not defined yet. And then now all of that will just work. Now we don't need this line of code at the end. We're not going to care about adding on to it. This, I think, might work. It might. And I think it's going to grow from the center. Does that make sense? Let's run it and see what happens.
Maybe. No, I don't think it should start from the beginning, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if our canvas is wide enough. I think it is. We've actually seen it draw all the way across. So I'm expecting a dot in the middle. Oh, it's not.
Yeah, because remember we made the start time 0. which is on the beginning.
Okay, there we go. Now it's
now
it's doing it. Okay.
No, the dot's still here.
That's the leftmost dot. This is the rightmost dot. What we're doing is we're seeing things spread across. We don't know what the span is, but it's basically how many seconds have passed since we started this. That's the span. And so you can see where the ticks, how long the distance between the ticks is now happening, right? Now, I want to see some X and Y here in a little bit. Because we're really all just in the unchanged. I'm hoping to see some up and down movement. Because I want to make sure we're...
Yeah, we should see some soon. Just because it never stays the same for too long. The price. With the exchange rate.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. Should we draw lines now?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
What?
Wait.
What's your dot?
It drew a dot here, and then immediately, like, with no time in between them, it went up. So I think that might be a bug, that when we move up, we don't move to the side as well, in terms of time. Maybe?
It could be that they have the same...
Time.
That the time came in so close.
That it's... No, I think it's a bug, because it happened again.
Well, let's take a screenshot. Let's go into paint. Let's space it in. Let's grab this and draw vertical lines. Let's see what we got here. See, these are not close together. See those?
Yeah, they're separate because all of the dots are, but they're drawn, like, I think as separate as the dots were before.
They're what?
They're the same distance apart as the dots were before we added. Oh, no, never mind. You're right.
Yeah, I think it's working. It's basically what I'm getting from this. I think it's working.
However, it totally looks like this dot is like over here.
Well, it looks like it's to the right of that to you.
It looks like it, but it isn't.
Right, I see. Another good reason to draw the lines.
Yeah.
So we draw the lines. Okay.
And also, they're so far apart that it's hard to tell. Or, I mean, like on the y-axis.
Yes, it is hard to tell. So let's draw some lines. That'll be good. Cool. All right, let's do it. All right, so we need to draw lines, and we basically we have the left position and the distance from the top. This is my top position right here. So I can come in here. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to just come in and do a rename on this. So we're going to call this. I'm going to change this to Y, and I'm going to change this to X. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the other thing that's going on is our left and top is, see the dot diameter? What we're really doing is putting the top left position there, not the center.
Oh.
Right? So what we want to do is we want to say, well, this is that, left position is X minus dot diameter divided by 2, or maybe dot radius. Do I have a dot radius? If I don't, well, let's add one. Looks like I got one. I'm not seeing an error there yet. All right. Oh, no. There it is. Okay, so there's an error. So that's okay. We're just going to jump in here, and we're going to say that's equal to this. It's equal to this divided by 2. And I'm going to change both of these to doubles. Okay?
Okay.
And so now we're just going to, all that's going to do is just going to make sure that the center is now at that position. Okay? All right, next. We need to draw the lines. Okay? So we'll come in here and we're going to say last X is equal to X. And then do me a favor, duplicate that line and change the next line below it to last Y is equal to Y.
Got it? Okay? Good. And then we want to declare
this at some point, so I'm going to create a double up here, like that. I'm going to say it's equal to double dot min value. And then do me a favor, duplicate that and turn that into last y.
Yeah.
Is equal to the same. Good. All right, good. Next, I want to check to see, right around here, before we set last x and y, I want to come in and say, hey, if last x is not equal to min value, then we've already drawn a point.
Yeah.
Ready, drawn, a point. Now, having a comment in code is okay, but it can be disconnected from the code pretty easily. So it's actually better if we, instead of doing this, it's better, you've seen us do this before, we come in, we introduce a local for this and give it a name that says already drawn one point, or at least 1 point. So now we have a code that's maybe a little easier to read without a comment in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What we just did? So if we've already drawn at least 1 point, then now we can draw a line between the two. Now, guess who totally doesn't remember how to draw lines in WPF?
I'm gonna say you.
I don't know how. I don't know how to do it, but I think
it's probably similar to the ellipse.
I don't know. I guess I could say line. What's this? It's just a window shaped line. Press the same line with 2 points. Huh. All right, let's try that.
That's exactly what
line. Then line dot x1.
Yep, that seems right.
Is equal to last x.
And then
line y1 is equal to last y. Cool.
Yeah.
Line x2. Got that?
Yep.
That's going to be equal to x.
And then
y2 is equal to y.
I like how it suggested W3.
And then I want to I want to take this. See this right here? I want to move this up a little higher. I think. Do I? Yes, no, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
I'm going to just put it right up here. So it's just with its code. Right? So we're adding the dot, then we're going to draw the line. We do it the other way around. We draw the line first and then add the dot. At any rate, now to add it, I think we want a line of code that looks like this, or we're going to call it add line. And that may be all we need to do. Does it look like it's going to work? Maybe it's going to work. Let's do one other thing.
I don't know.
Let's do line.fill, or line.stroke is equal to, we do a new solid brush here, and give it blue. So it'll be a blue line just to be distinct for now.
Yeah.
And then we want to set its width. We're going to stroke width, stroke thickness is equal to maybe, I don't know, 2 pixels, 4, 3. Okay, with me?
Uh-huh.
All right, let's run it, see what happens. Wouldn't that be cool if this worked? Lines would be easy if this worked. Oh, I think it's working. Maximize it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Now, I think I want to draw the line behind.
Yeah, probably, so that we just know. Yeah. So to do that, is it just as simple as drawing the line before we draw the dots?
Kind of, but the problem is the last dot is always going to be, it's also always going to be drawn before the line. So in order to do this, we need to do something change its Z order, which says move it to the very back.
Yeah.
And we need to say, we just want to do that line. The cool thing about WPF is it allows us to change Z order pretty easily, I think. But so far I'm digging this. This looks good.
Yeah.
Right? It's looking like, oh, okay, cool. I have data moving. I just want to, like I said, I just want to get the dots on top, because the dots are a little more important than the lines.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and close this down a second, and let's figure out how to do this. I think what we need to do here is we're adding it. Oh, we could do this. Instead of the call to add, we could call insert. and it asks for an index, I could give it 0.
We might want to put this all in a method so that it's just easier to read.
Sure.
The code.
All lines go to the back. Let's see if that insert call works. See what I did? Instead of doing add, which it puts it to the end, which means it'll be on top of everything, put it before it, we're going to now stick it at the very back. We're using this insert call. I think that's going to do it. Let's see if that works. Looking for the red dots on top of the blue line.
It might be the opposite. We might want to make it. Yeah!
All right, that looks like it worked. Sweet. Cool. Okay, let's refactor it. So, this. We could refactor this to draw a line, or we could do just this.
Yeah, I was thinking just that.
Okay, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and hit the coder sheet, choose extract method, and we're going to say draw line. Or add line. It's probably better to say add line. We're not actually drawing it, we're adding it.
Yeah.
Remember Alt, left and right, arrows, Alt, Shift. Good. Okay, add line. I like it. Right up here. Hold on. Let's put this X and Y there. See that?
Yeah.
That code adds the dot. So let's extract that to its own method called add dot. Good. Look at this method, right? So we update the price. We add the stock position, right? We record, we initialize last X and last Y to be min value. We do dispatcher invoke because we're going to do some UI stuff. We need to be on the UI thread, right? Now, all of this right here, we could actually put this in its own method. We could do this. Oops, see the refs? I don't want those refs there. Those refs, if I bring them down into here, there won't be refs. I won't even pass them in and out. We take all of this and put its own method called draw graph. Oops, it's taking in that data. I don't want to take the data in either. Where's it using data? Oh, here.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I really don't want that there. All right, so I'm going to just do this. That's okay. I'm just going to grab this, take that extract method, and I'm going to call this draw graph. Okay? Now, cool. Now we have a method. Whenever we update the last price, looks like this. Add the stock position. Cool. Right?
Yeah.
We can read that and send it to our chart translator. Then we call dispatch invoke, and we draw the graph, and then we set the stock price text. Okay? Draw graph is simple call, right? Now draw graph doesn't have a dispatch invoke around it because it's safe. You're going to call it in this, we know it's already a safe call by the time we get into it. So we're good to go here, and it makes the draw graph code easier to read, right? We remove all the children, then we go through all the data points, we get the X and Y, we add a dot at the X and Y, right? We check to see if we've already drawn at least one point, and if we have, we call add line.
Yeah.
Okay? By the way, we could simplify this too. There's another crazy way we do this. Maybe even simple. Look at this. Here's one way of looking at this code. Compare it with I think this is a little simpler. I do have to keep that there. We set this to false, and then we just set it to true down here. Like this. And then this is gone. And so now what we have, we've already drawn at least 1 point. You see what's going on now?
Yeah.
We set it to false. We go through the first time, this will be false, so we won't add a line. But then we'll set it to true, and every time after that, we'll add a line.
Yeah.
You might like that a little bit better. So that's it. This, yeah, no, I think we're good. I'm not going to touch anything. So that is draw graph right there. Cool. You want to run one more time, make sure we got it's still drawing like we're expecting it to?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
You know, now that I think about it, this might actually slow down after a while because it's trying to like re-update every time we add a new point. It's trying to update everything else.
By the way, look at the diagonal right above your head. That used to be really steep, but then there's a sudden rise in the spike of the price.
So
right?
it might.
Price jumped up. That was much bigger than the one that we had encountered before. I like it. It's cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
By the way, I think that 500 height that we hard-coded is right about there. That's 500, but that's about 1,000 all the way down. So we could make it a little taller. Certainly like a couple, maybe 100 more, like the 600 or 650. So it goes right above our heads when we run it full screen like this. All right.
Yeah.
What's next? What do you think? Gypsy is out there. Hello, guys. Have fun. Hey, Gypsy. We could put labels at the top and bottom.
Yeah, let's make it look like a real graph.
Okay.
So that it has along the side, it has a value. It's, you know, the top value, the bottom value, and then over here is the time.
Yeah.
Or maybe we do it from the graph height, so it's like boom to boom.
Maybe we do what?
Sorry, maybe we draw the X line for the time closer to the graph bottom, the bottom of the graph.
Right. So let's see here. If we're going to put labels from left and right, they can go at the bottom, right here and here. So it's the time span. But we can also put the time span right in the middle. And we just say the total seconds, and we put arrows on either side pointing to the left and right. That makes sense here. Let's talk about this. I'm going to take a picture of this. We're going to go jump over into, we'll switch over to my machine. Can you switch to my machine for me?
Yep.
We'll call this Graphinator. Graphinator Pro. Something like that. This is what it currently looks like. This is what a current chart looks like as we're sending that out.
Oh wow, wait. Sorry, can you switch over to my screen for a sec?
Yeah,
wait.
Got it.
So remember this one is the one that was super steep before, and now it's just like, sorry, it's very...
Oh, right. Yeah, it's all...
almost flat.
Everything's all relative. Any number you give me, I can say it's big or small.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Any change, I can say that's large or small.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm going to throw it. From a relative. All right, cool. So that, so yeah, it's looking, the chart's looking pretty good, but we want to give a sense of scale here. So what I want to do is I want to, somewhere around the top, I'm thinking I want to put whatever my top price is. I'll tell you what I really want to do, Campbell. This is like a little crazy in advance. What I really want to do, I want to put my price right there next to that dot. See that dot there? That's interesting to me because it jumped up.
Oh, that's what you mean. I thought you meant for every dot.
Now just next to this one, whoops, not there. That one, and then I want to go, and then so I want to do that, and then I also want to do it
on
here.
The bottom ones when it jumps down.
Yeah, like here, there, right there.
But then,
and there.
As it goes on, you get
they compress.
Yeah, and then their prices are like on top of each other.
Right. So I would want to add logic to make sure I'm not going to do that. I would want to look ahead, right? So if we could do that, that would be a thing that we could do. That's kind of an advanced thing. That
Sorry, you just said look ahead. How?
Well, we have the array. We know we have the array, right? We also know what its X position is. So we know if we track it, we can check to see, hey, do we have a sudden jump up? And is the jump higher than the font we would need to represent it? And if it is, then watch to see if there's a jump down for the length of whatever the label would be. And
okay.
If it's not, then we know we have enough room.
But then what if later? Sorry, I didn't make cursor.
Oops, hold on a second.
What if later it compresses more, and then they're on top of each other?
But we clear all the labels. The labels will be children as well, so we update the labels every time.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we could do that, but that's a lot of work for something that's kind of
small.
Well, for us it might be small, but if this was an app we were releasing, it would be a pro feature. I mean, it would be an essential feature of it because we want to be able to let people see the data very clearly. And if I can get that number, the price right next to the point, you can see, oh, okay, cool. It went from, $1, whatever this is here, right, to $2.
Maybe we make it, instead of doing that, maybe we make it so that when you click on the dot, it shows you its value.
Ooh, I like that. That's super cool. That I like a lot.
Or even like you hover over it, so...
Anywhere it shows you. Anywhere. It doesn't even have to be a dot. You could be between two dots.
On the line.
I like that. All right, you ready? Do you want to do that instead? Or do you want to... Should we go... So what is our time? We only got 17 minutes. We could do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So, to do that, we need to do a tooltip. That basically shows as we move...
Wait, where does the tooltip show up again? Does it just show up where the cursor is?
We can put it wherever we want. We can basically make it follow the mouse. Okay?
Okay.
I'm not super familiar with tooltips, so we'll have to learn that part. But I'll tell you what we can do instead. Here, let's go over and look at that bigger machine because things are getting a little interesting. You start to see things really compressing, right? The distance here is... And we don't have any way to clip off data. Right, we don't have any way to say, we have too much data, let's ignore.
Let's ignore this half of
right,
the
we don't have that yet. We also don't have any ability to zoom in on the data. And I think I think what's interesting about this, Campbell, is before we actually get to a point where we're having this thing trade automatically for us, I think that we want to be able to really have good data analysis, including. Do you remember in the regular expression tool, we built the viewer, or no, it was a super number. We built the ability to generate a test case automatically.
Yeah.
I would like to be able to select data and generate test cases based on data selection. So I can say, here's some data, go throw it at our algorithm, and our algorithm will tell you where the buy is, where the sell is, right? So I believe the key to success here is really good data visualization. So what that also means is we're far from that. We're going to have to, it'll be several episodes where we're going to build up the data visualization, build up the test cases before we're actually buying and selling stock. Does that make sense?
You know what's very interesting?
Our money's on the line, so we want to make sure. Go ahead, what's interesting?
What's the key to copy what's on the screen?
Alt, print screen.
Okay. So,
It worked. Did you hit Control V?
I did.
Let's try again.
Oh, okay. There it is.
There it is. Okay, good.
So, over the time, it's gone up and then also down a bit.
Yeah.
But eventually, like, it's just pretty much flattened out. Not fully, it's gone down a bit, but like overall, like this point here
is very similar to the start.
Is very similar to where we started.
Right. So let me stop you a second. So what you're doing right now, this is something that human brains tend to do. They tend to see data and
patterns in the noise
and try to find the pattern.
Yes.
Try to find an explanation.
No, I know there's no pattern, but what I'm just saying is it goes up and down a lot, but eventually it doesn't move long term. Stocks.
Well, that's what we've seen here, but
sorry.
I guess, yeah, I think that there's really not much that we can infer from this in terms of predicting the future.
No.
There's really not much. But we can look for patterns. That's kind of what we're kind of maybe moving towards. We can do things. Well, anyway, we'll move towards this. So, what do we want to do? We want to maybe do. We talked about being able to see the price anywhere along the line.
Yeah.
Okay. We need to do a couple things to make that work. We need to store. We need a way to get from the dot back to the stock data point. We need to be able to get back to this guy, because this guy's got the price and the data and the time.
Yeah.
Okay? We're adding the dot. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that stock data point, and I'm going to add parameter right here. Pass it in. Okay? See it?
Got it.
Then I'm going to go with my dot. The dot, every single WPF object has a property called tag. It's a type object. That means you can set it to whatever you want.
Ah.
So I'm going to now set it to stock data point. All right, good so far?
Got it. Yes.
Next, I need to be able to tell when the caret is nearby one of these dots, right, when the mouse moves. So I need a mouse move on the canvas. So there's my canvas right there. So we're going to now add an event mouse move. There it is right there. See it? Mouse move?
Yeah.
New event handler. Okay?
Okay.
So every time the mouse moves, we're going to get in here. Now here, we say E dot, actually, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to back out of this. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to add it. I'm not. Don't be afraid to back out of an idea, by the way. Just tear out of it as fast as you can if you think it's not right. So in my mouse move, I want to now call get position. Get position asks for an input element relative to. See that right there?
Yeah.
So it's what element is this going to be relative to? I'm just going to say relative to the canvas name. Okay, that's going to now give me an X and Y position relative to the name. What am I most concerned about there? My X position. That tells me my time. Okay, that is in pixels. And now I want to go to my converter. What's it called? Chart converter? Chart translator? Chart translator. And I'm going to say get closest time. Get time from X. And then pass in position.x. Good. And so that's going to return back out a VB8 under that. Sorry, I'll do TB8 like that. And we're going to call that the mouse time, maybe? Set that equal to that. Let's go declare this. Get time from an X. Okay, so get time from X. I'm going to put that close to my X code. So get stock position X. See that right there? Get time from X. So this is going to take a pixel. I call it X position. That's my pixel position. And I need to get it to a time. So X position is all. We need to kind of do this in reverse. We need a percent across. So percent across is equal to X position divided by what?
Wait, percent across would be divided by distance to point, right?
We're close. You're close. You're thinking about distance. Percent across. This is got a pixels here, so this has got to be in pixels.
Oh, pixel width, or I think it's
exactly. Look at it right above on chart line 68. Chart width pixels.
Ah.
Okay, that's my percent across. Good. Okay. Now I need my total time, my distance, the total distance across. That's time right here. Right here. Total, maybe instead of calling it total distance across, call it total time span. Time span across. Total span across. Okay. I can use that still down here. So now I've got my total span across. That's in the time spans. I'm going to now say percent across. And then time across in seconds, that's going to be a double. So time across in seconds is going to be equal to percent across times total span in total seconds, like that. So
yeah.
my time across in seconds is now that. Next, I now know my time because I know my time across in seconds and I know my start. So it's equal to start right there plus, and this is where it's a little tricky, time span dot from seconds. I'm going to add a time span to my date time. That's a date time. This is a time span. Date times plus time spans are equal to date times. So it'll still give me a date time. So all I need to do is pass in that. And so now get time from X is going to give me this. There's my mouse time. I think that's going to work. Now with the mouse time, I now need to go into my chart translator and I need to say something like get nearest point, get nearest trade to the time.
I think point is okay.
You think point is okay or do you want to change it?
Yeah, point's fine.
Okay, so get nearest point, we're going to go create that. And now what we need to do is we need to basically say, okay, which one is closest to this in time? So we need to get our stock data points right here. We need to do a for each on those. And we need to see how close they are. So we're going to say, we need to track the distance. So that's going to be in time span here. So we'll say closest distance, closest span so far. We're going to store that, and we're going to also need to store the closest data point. So we're going to store both of these as we go through. Okay, I'm going to initialize this to have a max value. Okay, and then we're going to check to see as we go through here. We're going to see if, and this doesn't need to be mouse time anymore, this could just be time. We can say, hey, if stock data point dot time minus time, the one we're passing in. If that minus that, do we have an absolute value on that? We don't.
No.
I'm going to change this, because we don't have absolute value, I'm going to change this to a double, and we're going to make this,
but we can do math.abs.
I'm going to take this is going to go to a time span, then I'm going to say dot total seconds. I'm just probably turning everything into seconds. Okay, so total seconds is less than my closest span so far. Then, okay, and let's do this one more, let's do this as well. Let's come in here, introduce a local for this, and let's also do a, called a math.abs on this. So So we're just care about the absolute value. When we're finding the closest, it doesn't matter if it's left or right. So total seconds, this should maybe not be total seconds. We're going to call this distance in time. Distance in time. And if it's less than that, then we're going to come here and we're going to say, well, that's equal to this. Does that make sense to you? I'm going to now store it, and I have to say the closest data point is equal to what? What's that going to be equal to?
I'm not sure.
All right, well, let's think about it. This data point, its time minus time, is closer. This data point is closer. If this is true, then this data point is closer than the last data point we were storing. So what we're going to do is we're going to set that equal to that guy, right there. Convert that to a function. And now, if this works, if that works, that's not null. Then what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to say, just for now, because we're running out of time, is I'm going to say title is equal to, and we're going to use the nearest point dot, I'm not getting intelligence there, dot tick dot last trade rate.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
What's wrong? So nothing yet. We need some data. Okay, now there's the data. You see some data there. As you move it, nothing is happening.
Can I have control of the mouse for a
Yeah,
second?
go ahead. It should change as I move left or right. Wait, it changed a little bit. It's like it's responding to
it's
Y
only for
instead of the X. Let's go take a look at the code.
I think it is.
I'm using the X. Let's put this breakpoint in here. Okay. So what do we get? Mouse position is 500. Mouse position X, we're still passing in, which should be about 500. Okay. Chart width in pixels is 1900, so percent across is about 30%. Good. Total span across is equal to what? 38 seconds. Okay, that makes sense so far as well. Percent across, 30 times, that should be about 10 seconds. Good, time across. So the time from now is equal to start, whatever our start time is. That's when we started, plus those seconds, 10 seconds. That is correct. That time from X is good. So there's my mouse time. Nearest point. Let's go look at this. Okay. We look at all the data points. We've got 24 of them. We now want to see what's time minus time. I wonder if the problem is we get to zeros here or not. I'm not sure. So we have this 5 minus this should be about 10 seconds. That looks right. Distance and time. If distance and time is less than it is because we initialize closest span so far to the max value. So we're going to say, okay, so that's equal to the distance in time, which is equal to 10.48. Good. And the closest is that.
Wait, sorry, what?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
We just basically just talking about what these two lines of code did. So closest span so far is now equal to 10.48, and the closest data point is now equal to that piece right there. So instead of breakpoint here, and instead of breakpoint in here, this looks good to me. We hit it again. Now what's our distance so far? We get 10.2. So any closer than that? We get 9.4, 5.6. Okay, 3. We get 1.5 seconds away. We get almost right on it. And then that's it. We return it. Okay. So what is, I don't understand what's wrong with the code. And if we don't have it, then we update it. Now,
I think it's updating slowly.
You could also come down here and do an else and say title is equal to move mouse near point. Move mouse. Oh gosh, come on, keys, fingers. Mouse near point. You see value. That. All right. Let's keep running it. Yeah, I'm seeing no change.
Yeah, because you're... Look, wait, can I have control of the mouse for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
If you're moving it along this... Oh, I guess it should change once you go down here. It is. It's changing correctly.
So it changes when you're down below but not above.
What? No? Because all of these points have the same value. Or close enough to the same value so that... Wait, so that it doesn't display it there. The code works.
That's funny. So the code is working. It's right here. There we go. Okay. So here.
So it is kind of on the Y scale if you move on the Y. Or I guess not really. Yeah, so it's on the Y scale.
Here. So from here to here, we should see a change. But I don't see a change here to here. I do see a change here. What about here to here? Here to here, I should see a change.
No, you shouldn't. Your closest dot. You should see it when you go from up and down.
No, because we're using that position. As you see it from here to here.
If we were using the X position, then we should be using the time, not the value.
We are using the time.
Wait, that's the time?
We're using the time to get the nearest point. And then we grab the trade rate and put it out. We use the time to find it. So it's interesting. So this works. This should work and does not appear to work. It could be that the canvas size is not wide enough. The height is set here, but the width is not. Let's set that to 600 for now. And let's set I think this is exactly what we said it was going to be in our constructing the initial 1900 by 500. Okay, choose 500. Let's see if we can get any better numbers now. Nothing right there. That one is working. What about here, back here? This one is not. That is so weird to me. It's almost as if there's something else blocking it. I also think I want to do a line. I want to draw a line where the mouse is.
Huh?
I said I want to draw a line where the mouse
sorry.
is.
But like from the mouse to where?
Just straight up vertical. So you can see a line right behind it.
Oh, that's probably useful.
I think what we do is we save all this for next time. What's to do in here? To do, make sure this works. Draw a line behind. Can you bring up GitHub, by the way?
Yeah.
Mouse. Let me just finish the word mouse here, if you don't mind. Mouse. There we go. All right.
GitHub or source tree?
Bring up GitHub, get the link to it. So there it is right there. I just want to get that link. Copy the clipboard. Copy that. I'm going to put that in there. PyroCat. Hey, PyroCat. Welcome. We're just wrapping up. That's the source code over there. Okay, go ahead and bring up source tree and check in that code. We're going to check in the code we just wrote today. We'll be back next Friday. No, wait, next Friday. Okay, well, next Friday I've got the interview with Brian, I think.
Oh, okay.
Next Friday.
So Saturday.
Next Saturday we'll put this back up again. You can check in all that code. That's the stuff we did today. So we basically did.
We charted for time.
Yeah, we solved charting on X and Y. Real-time charting for Bitcoin on X and Y, or any stock we wanted to look at, but right now we're just looking at Bitcoin.
Right. That's axis multiple.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Plural.
You need an E on your word right in there.
Oh.
We'll get a raid going here. Okay, we'll touch that in. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks, Mr. Soda, Dipsuit Power Cat.
Whoa.
Send over to White Panther.
Ah. What? No.
And we'll